in our meditation, and even in our lives, where you bring in a practice of mindfulness, you bring in a practice of what's called witness consciousness. One of the first things that we do when we witness is we judge. So we watch our breath, and a voice in our head says, that breath isn't long enough. That breath isn't deep enough. That breath isn't slow enough. We drop deeper. In the midst, a thought comes, we notice that it's come, but we don't hook our attention into it. Nonetheless, there's a part of the brain that says, oh, you're never going to get this spiritual thing down. There you are thinking. Why is it that whenever you try to meditate, that guy always comes back in your mind? Or that girl always comes in your mind? Here I am trying to meditate. It's bad enough he or she occupies my mind the rest of the time, but here I am trying to meditate. Now in my meditation also they've come. And so the mind starts judging. Or sometimes it does things that it thinks are useful. So I'll have a thought and the mind will say, that's my anger at my mother. That's my insecurity. That's my inferiority, whatever it may be. Now we spoke last night about the different forms of intelligence. One of them being emotional intelligence. And I was talking about how important it is to understand our own emotional makeup so that we'd stop blaming the world outside for things that are going on inside. But the time for that is not meditation. A lot of things come up in meditation. And that's actually good, it's wonderful. The mind finally gets quiet. Suddenly, awareness, realizations, insights, they start to come and it's beautiful. But you just want to be sure not to lose your meditation in analysis. Puja Swamiji gives a 3-component multivitamin that has meditation, no reaction, and introspection. And he always says, begin the day with meditation. During the day, practice no reaction. And at the end of the day, introspection. And what's important in that distinction is that meditation and introspection are not the same. So they are, they're both important, but if I'm analyzing, if I'm thinking about the thought that's blowing across my awareness, quickly, hopefully, I'm not meditating. If you imagine lying on your back and looking up at a blue sky, and you're watching the sky, now suddenly, every once in a while, a cloud will come by. Imagine it's a windy day, clouds come by, and a cloud goes like this, and it obscures the sun, and it obscures the brightness of the blue sky. And it keeps going. Now you've got 2 options. Option 1 is you take your eyes and you follow the cloud. You watch it go from here all the way across. The other option is you stay focused on the blueness of the sky. And the clouds will come one by one. But instead of hooking the awareness into them and following them across, you simply return the awareness to the blueness of the sky. And that's what meditation is. So when we're meditating on our breath, or on a mantra, or on the infinite nature of the self, thoughts will come, yeah. Like clouds. But you don't want to hook yourself into it. Because then what you find is the meditation is over. So I'm meditating and suddenly maybe I get a whiff of a smell. Some smell comes. And my mind, which is impacted not only by my meditation, but also, of course, by the fact that I've got an empty stomach. I've just woken up in the morning. It's a long time since dinner. I get this whiff of something that smells good. And my mind suddenly says, croissant. Now, what most of us do is we hook the awareness into that. And we go, oh yeah, God, those croissants that I had in Paris, they were so good. I should really take another trip to Paris. It's been so long since I've been there. God, when do I get holiday again? I hate this new job. I only get 2 weeks. I used to get 4 weeks. Well, but it's closer to the house. At least I'm not stuck in so much traffic. So you see, we've gone from simply the awareness of a sensation. A smell has entered our nasal passages and made its way to the perception in our mind. And suddenly, I've gone to Paris. I've gone to my favorite croissant shop in Paris. I've gone to my new job, the pros and the cons. And God knows how long it's going to be before some part of my mind says, wait, I was meditating. And then you start to try to reel back in the mind. And it's not always so superficial. Sometimes maybe it's a smell of a croissant. And the mind says, oh God, I'd love a croissant, but I can't. I've gained 5 pounds. I really have to wait until I lose the weight. Then I can have a croissant. Well, who says 5 pounds is too much? What's wrong with being a few extra pounds overweight? Yeah, well, this was what I learned. My sister, who my whole life told me I was too pudgy, who I just wanted to be like my sister. Now, finally, I get thin. Now I've gained the weight. Now I hate myself. I hate my sister. Can't believe my parents let her torture me like that. What were they thinking? So again, a whiff. Someone in the apartment building may be baking some bread. Somewhere outside there's a pastry shop. And my meditation is over. I'm back in my childhood. I'm all over the world. And so meditation, we have to be really clear, is about coming back, coming back, coming back. In fact, if you study the 8 limbs of yoga, while we certainly by no means have to take them sequentially, you could certainly learn to work with the breath before you learn to work with the body. You could learn meditation before you learned asanas. But if you did take them sequentially, what you'll notice is they get more and more subtle. And the point that's worth mentioning here, rather than taking all our time to talk about the 8 limbs, it's a beautiful subject though, but I won't go all the way there tonight. But what's important is the limb right before samadhi. Samadhi is the eighth limb, what you could call the ultimate goal of yoga. Union. But ecstatic union. Divine union. So right before that is meditation. And meditation becomes samadhi when the object of meditation, the meditator, become one. But just before meditation is the practice of single-pointed focus. And the reason that I mention this is if you cannot bring your mind to one place, you cannot take it to meditation. So a single-pointed focus isn't meditation, but it's a crucial step just before meditation. Having my mind focused on one thing, a word, a candle flame, an image, whatever it may be, my breath, is that which is essential to give me the possibility of experiencing meditation. And so if my mind is all over the place, whether with croissants in Paris or my own judgment, even the thinking that I think is helpful, even the thinking that is helpful, the introspective thinking, isn't meditation. And so when you are simply witnessing, when you're simply watching, it's with no judgment, no analysis. It's just